Dr. Loftin, what about this so-called red and black report? This is, again, very controversial issue of having to quantify the financial contribution of faculty members. Some are in the red, some are in the black, hence the name the red and black report. This did happen at A&M. There's been some question of whether such a report is going to be prepared looking at the University of Texas. Why is this a good thing from an accountability standpoint for A&M?
Well, I wouldn't say that it itself was a good thing the way it was done. We talked about this quite a bit. This was a system function, not a university function, first of all. But the problem I had with it was twofold, really. One, it's a snapshot. A faculty member over 30 years is a continuum of a career. And so taking one moment in time and saying that characterizes a person is a little bit, I think, misleading. We may have a person assigned to, in a given semester, 2 400-member classes, 2 large lecture classes. They're touching 800 people. They'll generate many dollars, of course, from that effect. The next semester, they may be teaching 2 or 3 sections of 25 each because they're senior or graduate level courses. So we mix up, and that's the department head or chair's job is by semester to mix up the actual assignments of faculty here. So any snapshot may bias you because you see only a moment in time. But perhaps more importantly, the way this spreadsheet was put together in our case, there was not a clear indication of the source of salary. Bill already mentioned, many faculty may have salaries paid from more than one source. And if you really make the assumption that all the money for the salary came from teaching, it might look like you're red.
It would skew the results
when you really aren't red
of the deal,
because
right.
half your salary more came from an agency or came from NSF or places like that. That's a typical situation. So I was just simply asking for more clarification here. It's a complicated mix. Right. With 3,000 faculty, you can imagine how many different situations there are there. I can take you in 50 minutes, give you a very good understanding of one faculty member's life and productivity. It's hard to do it for 3,000 in one snapshot. That's the argument I make.
Mr. Parrish, do you see any value in the production of such a report, and will UT ultimately have such a report released?
My concern with what you've called the red and the black report is more fundamental. We certainly have data on what faculty teach, certainly faculty salaries. It's public information. It's not that much fun for faculty to have them in the newspapers, but that's true for politicians and public employees. It's public information. But it's more than data in that. You set up a balance sheet. It's an evaluative exercise as well as a data exercise. It's saying, here are the costs, certainly salary and the capital costs of building the buildings, et cetera. And here are the assets and the values that are produced. That is a statement about what our value system is. We would consider the outputs good teaching and good research. The evaluative structure of that report counted as the outputs commercialization money that came in. I think now it's talking about actual grants that come in. Those are certainly assets that faculty produce. Nothing wrong with including them. It includes the tuition proportionate to the student credit hours that's brought in, and the general revenue under the formula of the student credit hours that are brought in. Those are certainly values. But what is left out is the social value of the research. So it's setting up not just a data structure, but a way of evaluating the outputs of faculty members without taking into account 2 things. One is the value of the research that has transformed in the aggregate at a lot of universities, not just ours, the state of Texas, and over 60, 70, 80 years, America. And it punishes the person who teaches those signature courses. That's a critical productivity reform for us. We think students in those signature courses get the kinds of skills. They write every week, they do critical thinking. Those students that get in the freshman research lab programs in the College of Natural Sciences, they're getting an experience that improves their student success later and gets them through the university quicker. We see that as a productivity gain, including the quality of the education they're getting, but that faculty member who's doing that is penalized under this.
Doesn't show up on the report.
Doesn't show up. So it's not just a technical problem.
Right.
It's a problem that it misunderstands the outputs that we're looking for in a great research university.